Hello and welcome to today's episode. We're just going to do a little quickie. I want to share with you a little bit about journaling and the practice of journaling and how it can really help you today. For those of you who are new to my podcast, The Positive Thread, I am Heather McConaughey. I am an intuitive eating counselor. I'm a health coach, nutritionist, and trained and licensed registered nurse. And I absolutely love helping women just improve their health mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Health is holistic. And that's what I've learned in the past 5 years as an online health coach to women is that we can't really separate out our physical health from our emotional health, from our relational health, etc. And it's really important that if you are focused on improving your physical health, if you're focused on having a better relationship with your body and food, that you are also willing to do more emotional mining. You're willing to do some of that mental and emotional work to heal and develop skills for yourself that way. I think through my experience coaching, I saw that, women would come to me and think, one, they want to lose weight. Like that's going to fix things and solve things for you. P.S. It won't. Okay. Just telling you, it's not the be all end all solution to your anxieties, your feeling of loss of control in life, your dissatisfaction with other areas of your life. It's not actually the thing that is going to give you the deepest desires of your heart. And I saw that women can become overly obsessed with their food and their meal plans and their workouts and their body and their size as a way to avoid dealing with deeper emotional things that are going on for you. And the reason I can say this is because I've been there, all right? So this is me too. Anytime I'm coaching my clients through something, it's only because I've also been through that. And so today what I want to share with you is the power of journaling and how this tool has not only really impacted my life positively, but it's allowed me to heal emotionally. It's allowed me to create things in my life. And so what I'm going to talk to you about today, we're going to go through some of the benefits of journaling, some of the barriers that you might be experiencing to journaling. You might be like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to journal, but I don't want to do it because of X, Y, and Z. We're going to talk about some different techniques and approaches to journaling. I'm going to share with you my favorite journals that you can use if you want more of guided prompts. And yeah, we'll just do a little quickie about journaling. So just a little quick backstory history on me. I have been keeping a diary since 1988, all right? Has anybody else also been journaling or keeping a diary for a long time? Who here grew up in the 80s? I'm dating myself, but you were a kid in the 80s and you guys had those book fairs at school where you could go and buy books and journals and art supplies. Do y'all remember those? I think they were called the Scholastic book fairs, something like that. So one of my very first journals came from the Scholastic Book Fair. It was actually a diary. It had one of those little locks with a key, and it had a ballet shoe on top of piano keys on the cover, which is really funny because you would never stand on piano keys with a ballet shoe on point. Anyway, but I started keeping a diary, and I wouldn't always write in it every day, but I started this habit of writing down my feelings on paper. And there's some powerful entries in there. There's entries where I expressed anger at my brother or my mom or frustrations. There were documentation of happy memories and things I wanted to remember. There was just sharing about my day. And all through middle school, I kept diaries and journals. All through high school, my 20s, I have been an avid journal keeper, diary writer for literally 3.5 decades, roughly, okay, since I was 8. I am somebody who feels the power of journaling so much that if I don't do it almost every day, I experience negative effects to my mental and emotional health. That's how powerful journaling has been for me. Some of the benefits of journaling are clarity. So much of us are inundated with noise, distraction, demands, that we find it difficult to hear ourselves, to hear from God, to hear wisdom, to hear truth. And so journaling has been a very powerful way for me to access clarity with my thinking, clarity with my feelings, clarity with goals. Journaling also helps you reduce your stress, something that everybody needs. So for me, there's nothing better than like a hard workout, right? And then putting my feelings and thoughts onto paper. When I'm in emotional distress, when I'm sad, depressed, when I'm upset, when I'm angry, when I'm confused, when I'm anxious, if I just put pen to paper and just write out how I'm feeling, all the feelings, I feel so frustrated about this thing, I feel sad, I'm so pissed off, whatever. It is like no one is going to see it. It is just for me to vent and dump and vomit all of my feelings out onto paper. When I express myself, right? When you express something, the word literally means like to get something out of, right? And so when you express your feelings, they literally come out of your body. Every emotion has a corresponding physical sensation in the body. And so when you do not express your emotions, they start to get stuck in our bodies. We feel tense, we have health issues, we cope with food instead of actually feeling our feelings. And so journaling will really help you reduce your stress. It will also create a lot of peace. If you're someone who veers towards anxiety or depression, then journaling can create a tremendous amount of inner peace and calm. Connection to self. There's something about journaling that just allows you to reconnect to your inner child, to your adolescent self, to your adult woman self, and get clear on what it is you want and you need. Also, enhanced goal achievement. So yes, we're going to talk about journaling for just like emotional health and well-being, but there's also journaling for goal setting, for visioning, for achieving things, for measuring your habits and metrics, and that's very powerful too. Greater emotional processing, so working through those tough emotions, greater organization of your day depending on the journal, but I find pretty much any type of journaling system will enhance your organization, and better sleep. If you've ever just struggled with your sleep, try journaling for 10 minutes before you go to bed and dumping your ideas. You know, people call it a brain dump, but I think of a brain dump more like a to-do list. Journaling for me is more about expressing your feelings, okay? So let's talk about some of the barriers to journaling that you may be experiencing. Number one, you might just not feel like you know what to write. Maybe you are not a writer by nature and it feels weird to sit down and write. Maybe you have trauma from your past in school of, not being a good speller, or a teacher criticized your handwriting, or you feel self-conscious about how you string words together. Maybe you don't feel good at grammar, etc. Okay, so you might just not feel confident as a writer or confused as what to write or even where to start. Another barrier is you might be scared somebody will read your journal. Okay, who has experienced this fear? Have you? This is very common and I've experienced it too. I'm one of those people that if I know someone's coming over to like house sit, I'll like hide my journal somewhere because I'm like, what if they read it? What if they're Snoop? All right. And that is a real possibility. Somebody could read your journal, and we'll talk about ways to deal with that. But that could be a fear that it's inhibiting you from even starting to journal. And then you might have the age-old time excuse. Oh, it's just I don't have the time. Just remember, that's such a generic, boring excuse to not do things that are good for you in life. All right, let's just stop using that. Just tell the truth. Just be like, I'm scared someone's going to read my journal. Or just be like, I don't know what to write. Or like, just be like, I don't want to process my feelings. Like, just tell the truth. Don't be like, I don't have time. Okay, that's just BS. All right, so let's first address this fear that someone will read your diary. The first thing that might be helpful to do is start with a journaling practice that does not expose your underbelly, that does not expose and express your innermost feelings and longings and desires, right? And I'll talk to you about some specific journals that you could use in that case. But in that case, you might just want to get a blank journal and just start every day with like a to-do list. Okay, your journal practice could just start with, free form journal, blank journal, just write the date at the top, write down like 3 things you want to get done that day, write down maybe some other to-dos that it would be nice to get done, and call it a day. If somebody finds that and reads it, like if your partner reads it or your kid reads it, it's not going to be exciting, right? And you're going to feel more comfortable and confident at starting to journal. Now, another thing you can do is you can set boundaries with people. You can just let your partner know, like, hey, this is private for me. I would appreciate if you would not read or access my journal, okay? You can keep it in a private place. You could carry it with you. You could have a lockbox if you don't want your kids getting into your journals. You could also have a locked filing cabinet. So it's very common to lock up files for businesses that are confidential or important. You could have a filing cabinet where you lock up your journals if it's important to you to keep them private. Another thing you could do is just have a password protected document on your computer. If you don't want it in the cloud because you don't want somebody to hack it, then just put it on your desktop and have it password protected. I used to do this for years. I would just have a random document that I called journal. It was password protected. So if I was traveling and I didn't have paper in front of me and I needed to get out my feelings, I could just open that up and jot things down and nobody could access it. So that's another way that you could protect your journaling. And then I think ultimately you just have to let go of the fear and realize that, like, so what if someone reads something in your journal? Like, so be it. Like, whatever. If you're lame enough to read someone else's journal, like, you need your own you need your own help. You need some therapy or something, right? And then another thing I do is I just periodically toss journals. So I do not haul around journals for 10 years with me. I don't want to read all my neuroses over and over again. The point of the journal is to get it out of you. So I buy like really cheap steno pads, like for 99 cents from Target. And those will be like where I just like do fear resolution exercises, where I just write feelings. That's where I just get the gunk out of me. They're not precious to me. I'm not trying to write something beautiful. I'm not trying to write poetic prose. I'm just like getting the emotional junk out of me that I need to process. And then you know what I do with those journals? I throw them in a dumpster somewhere. I burn them in a fireplace if I want to. I toss them and get rid of them. They don't have my name in them. They don't have my social security number. Okay, they're just blank of who I am. They're just my thoughts and feelings. So toss them, recycle them, burn them, compost them. If you're into composting, you can compost paper. The point is you don't need to even hang on to them that long. So like when you're done with a journal, like get rid of it, burn it. I have very rarely ever wanted to go back and read my old journals. Like that's not really what you're going to want to spend your time doing. That said, I occasionally will keep, like I have like my very first journal and I have a few diaries from my teenage years because they're more like mementos and like little treasures into like my childhood Heather and teenage Heather that I want to hold on to. Okay, so hopefully that helped you feel more confident in like overcoming that fear that someone might read your journal. Okay, and then let's talk about what to write. So there's many different ways to approach journaling. The first and easiest thing is just to free write. So grab a notebook, a blank notebook. Don't pick a precious notebook. Use your computer. You could type it. You could grab your iPad. I use the Notability app on my iPad with my iPencil, and I also keep like a random journal on my iPad. And then just write. So you could do like 3 pages. You could do 1 page, and you can just write about what's coming up for you that day. What are you excited about? It doesn't always have to be like negative feelings. It could be like, I'm so happy right now. I feel so content. It could be like, this is what's really working in my life. This is what's going really well. This is what I'm so grateful for. Gratitude is a great thing to include in a journal practice. So you can either do like a devoted, like just list gratitude and things you're grateful for. You could do like just list 3 things you're grateful for. So there's many opportunities for free write. Allow your creativity to flow. Sometimes I'll like write a little poem. Okay, no one's gonna read it. Doesn't need to be good. Sometimes I'll write a love letter to like my boyfriend. I won't send it to him. I like will save it for him, right? So many different ways you can free write. I think the most important thing is to just give up that there's a right way, no pun intended, give up that there's a right way to do it and just let words flow out of you. Now, if you are somebody who needs some more prompts, then you could just use simple prompts for your journal. You can either do a few things. You could go onto Amazon, search for different journals, look inside the journal, right? You know how they like let you peek inside? See if you can find a page that actually shows you the questions that are asked in the journal and just write those questions down for yourself and store them somewhere. You don't even have to buy the journal. You can just use their questions as prompts in your journal for free. Now, some other simple prompts you can do. You can write down what are you looking forward to today? What are you grateful for today? What are the top 3 things that you want to get done today? What's one fear that you're experiencing that you're going to give up or you're going to like take courageous action in spite of? So just some simple prompts that you can do. You can also do an exercise where you share with God, like you just write out what you're scared of. Ask for what you want to have happen, share gratitude, and like that's another great prompt as well. One of my favorite things to do at the end of the day as a really simple prompt is to just write out 2 columns in your journal and write down what are all the awesome things that happened to you today, from the little things to the big things. I love this exercise because more often than not, I forget all of the amazing little things that have happened to me during my day. And like just today, I can already think of some great things. Like I got a bunch of free things for my patio from a neighbor who was moving. I had a great workout. I had the gym to myself. I had a delicious breakfast. I recorded a podcast episode with a friend. I got a sweet message from my boyfriend. Like there's already been amazing things that have happened today, but we tend to lose sight of those things. And then in the second half, write down what were the challenges you faced that day. I find this a really nice balanced way to both acknowledge the good things in your life, but not be like too Pollyanna, like Miss Sunshine about everything. Like, no, there were also challenges you confronted. What were those? Acknowledge them. Okay, and then lastly, I just want to go through with you guided journals, and I'm going to share with you my favorite journals and the journal that I'm currently using and why I recommend it. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 4 journals that I have used over the past 5 years. And journaling, I've used a guided journal for the past 5 years. Ever since I started my business, before I started my business, I've been using intentional guided journals. They're very effective if you have goals that you want to achieve. Now, if you need the quickest, shortest journal, if you're like, Heather, I do have a time issue, okay? It's not an excuse. I really don't have time. Cool. Then get the 5-minute journal. This journal takes 2 minutes to do in the morning and 2 minutes to do in the evening. I used to keep that journal on my nightstand. When I woke up in the morning, it was the first thing I did. I'd roll over, open it up, and write down the first 3 prompts. Literally takes 2 minutes. And then in the evening before bed, I would finish it. 5 minutes a day total, super easy. Now, the downsides to this journal is it doesn't include like weekly planning, monthly planning. It doesn't really include looking at your life as a whole. It's very simplistic. It's also a little bit expensive to buy over and over and over again. So, you could, again, look inside the journal on Amazon and then just write the prompts down and do them yourself. But I find it is helpful to have like the physical journal. I find that this journal was great for me for a certain time in my life, but then it became too simplistic and I found that I wanted something more in depth. Okay, so 5-minute journal, great journal to start with, great journal if you are new to journaling, and a great little journal if you are truly strapped for time. Now, another journal that I tried, I'm not a huge fan of it, but some of my friends are, and it might be more up your alley. It's called the Sunrise Manifesto. This journal has more space to write, more prompts. It does include more like weekly goal planning in it as well. I find it a little more, not like woo-woo, but it just kind of appeals maybe more to you if you have like a little more like, I don't know, boho-y vibe potentially. So Sunrise Manifesto, I personally did not love this journal because it didn't help me like organizationally as much. And it kind of felt like not enough in-depth stuff, but like it was like too long for like how short it was, if that makes sense. It just like wasn't the right fit for me. But people do like it, so you could check that one out, Sunrise Manifesto. And then the journal I used for the past 2 years was the High Performance Planner by Brendon Burchard. Brendon Burchard is a high performance coach. He's an intense guy. He's like a go get 'em type of guy. So this journal is also intense, and it's called the High Performance Planner, okay, y'all? It is not called the Sunrise Manifesto. This is like for the people who got goals, they want to achieve them. It's a more masculine journal, and it's a more masculine approach, but it's very powerful. You assess your whole life every 3 months. You go through all the areas of your life. You plan your month, you plan your week, you reflect on your week, you reflect on your month, you plan each day, you reflect on each day. It is very comprehensive. But the downside to that is it does take more time. And if you are somebody who has trouble sticking with things, or you just are really strapped for time, or you have trouble focusing, I would not recommend this journal. But if you are somebody who loves to write, if you love to reflect, if you like to go deep and think about things, if you love reflecting deeply on each day, if you want to be really intentional with your life, if you want to improve every area of your life, if you want to stay on track during your day, if you want to achieve more, I highly, highly recommend the High Performance Planner. It was a game changer for me. It also really helped my mental health during a time where I was struggling, aka COVID, right? And so highly recommend the High Performance Planner. I might go back to it, but I decided I needed something fresh. And I had been doing the High Performance Planner for 2 years. So I went online and searched for a new journal on Amazon, and I picked the Goal Crazy journal. There's a few reasons I picked Goal Crazy. One is it was similar to High Performance Planner in that I focused on my whole life. So I focused on, how does my whole life work from, in the Goal Crazy journal, you assess your learning experiences, your accomplishments. You go through like assessing yourself on your health, family, social, financial, career, educational, fun, and spiritual faith. You talk about your dreams, you talk about your long-term goals. Then you create like, what are your goals for this year? You then pick a goal for the next 90 days to focus on. So it's a 3-month journal. And then you create monthly goals, and then you create weekly goals and daily goals. And I really like journals that have me focus on month, day, and week. I find that the best for me. So I really liked that it had that same kind of approach as the High Performance Planner. But what I liked about it better was it was shorter and smaller, so it was easier for me to carry around. It was also less journaling. Like, I was starting to feel like the High Performance Planner was just taking a lot of time to do. I also liked that the Goal Crazy journal had more free space for me to write notes. Also, the High Performance Planner includes like a daily schedule, hour by hour, which I didn't use, like almost like a calendar, and I used my Google Calendar. So I felt like there was a lot of wasted space in the High Performance Planner I wasn't using, and the Goal Crazy journal doesn't have that. It does have a free space where you can create like a bullet plan, which I like. So it has like a really nice open structure. It has this cool thing called a habit card where you pick 10 habits you want to focus on for the 90 days that you're doing the journal. And I really liked that as well. Actually, you have more goal cards. You have 3. I just discovered this. So you get 3 habit cards, and you pick, you create 10 habits you're going to focus on per month, and then you check that off every day, and it has like a little packet in the back to hold them. It's really cute. So I really, really like this. It also has free journaling space in the back. It only has maybe like 10 pages. But it is, it's a great journal. It comes in cute colors. I got like this metallic pink color. So I really enjoy this new journal, the Goal Crazy one. So I'm going to keep using this one. But there's many different journals online. You can kind of look around and see if you want a guided one. I recommend that. And in addition to the guided journal, I also still have a free-form journal where I just like dump emotions, dump like anything I need to process. And those are the journals that get tossed. I tend to keep my guided journals for at least a couple years because I like to kind of review or look back through what I've achieved. Okay, I hope you loved this deep dive into journaling. I hope it was helpful for you. And I would love to either see you journaling or see you with one of these guided journals if you buy one. So if you do, post it to your social media and tag me, like whether you use Instagram or send me a message on Facebook. But I would love to see you using your journal. I'm on Instagram at Heather McConaughey. I'll put the link in the description box below. And I just really look forward to hearing how journaling helps you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and tune in next week. I will have a bunch of new episodes for you. We'll have 3 new episodes, so tune in for that.